welcome back to Veganize That. So this is where I take recipes that are traditionally thought of as non-vegan and make them vegan, just to show you how easy it can actually be. Alright, so today's recipe is one of my absolute favorites. It's a really creamy kabocha kale risotto. Oh, and sage, of course, can't forget the sage, it's a fabulous part of it. So I have 3 cups of kabocha chopped up. I have 3 cups of kale chopped up. And then I have a whole bunch of other stuff. I'm using brown basmati rice today, but you can use any grain that you want. If you're not gluten sensitive, barley's awesome in this one, but just to keep this copacetic for everybody, we're gonna use rice. 3/4 cup chopped onion, putting that in the pot. So here we go. And then we're gonna turn on the stove because that would help to cook, right? All right, light it. We're gonna put it about medium-high. And then for me, I like to saute the vegetables in vegetable broth. I think it's much more flavorful that way. So here we go. I'm just gonna use it on sort of an as-needed basis. So I'm just gonna cover the bottom of the pot, and then I'm just gonna stir it all together. Great, and that's gonna keep going. And I'm also going to add the kabocha. And I've got that on medium-high. Oh, and another really important thing to know is to preheat the oven, because you could wait for that for a long time depending on your oven. So my oven is preheated to 400 degrees. I'm cooking everything in a pot that can cook both on the stove and then, on the stove top, and then go inside of the stove. That's super important too for the risotto, because we're gonna bake this. So right now I'm just waiting for the squash to soften and the onions to brown just a touch. So it's on medium-high, so that'll sit there for a little bit. And I'm also gonna take about 10 of these gorgeous, they smell amazing, sage leaves. Let's see, 1, 2, you really don't have to be precise, 4, but since this is for a recipe and all, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I can count, 10. All right, so I'm gonna take 10 of the sage leaves, and I'm gonna chop these puppies up and throw them in the risotto as well. While this is still cooking, just to get some flavors going on. Yes, yum, yum. All right, so there we have that. And it probably wouldn't hurt to add a little salt, pepper. So here we go with the salt. Oh, and I'm of course using organic kabocha, organic kale, organic vegetable broth, and my salt is a little broken so it doesn't really come out. The pepper comes out though. So there we go. Organic when at all possible is the way that I do it. So you do what you want, I do what I want. It's my kitchen. All right, so this is one of my favorite winter dishes just because the squash is just the only thing that I like about cold weather is the veggies that come along with it. So, you know, take what you can. It's softening up nicely. It should probably take about 4 to 6 minutes. So, you know, do your thing. And you can always just, if it feels like there's not enough liquid, just add a little bit more liquid. Perfect. Okay. So I turned the stovetop down to medium, and the onions are looking gorgeous. Everything's looking nice and soft and brown, just as it should. So the time has come to add the rice. So I'm just gonna add the rice right on in there. It's half of a cup, so I'm making this recipe for 2 to 4 people, depending on your purposes of using the recipe for main dish or side dish. Totally your pleasure. So I'm gonna add a little more veggie broth. And again, you know, you're just adding, so you'll add a total of 2.5 cups total. So don't freak out about the measurements because 2.5 cups total will go in eventually. And I'm just gonna stir this in here for about a minute with the rice, just so it gets nice and brown and flavorful as well. And then I am going to get ready to add the rest of the vegetable broth. So I'm going to bring that to a boil. And remember that our oven is set to 400 degrees. So So it's all nice and ready to go. And I'm going to take the top and place the topping. And I'm going to open the oven. This is a real step-by-step. And then I take my oven mitts because the pot is hot. And I should actually turn the stove off first, the stove top. There we go. And I'm going to take my oven mitts to handle the pot. And I'm just going to stick the pot in the oven, and we are going to let it cook. So your cooking time totally depends on the grain that you chose. So I would go by the package directions on your grain. So, hey. Okay, so we're back. I've let this bake now at 400 degrees for about 25 minutes so that most of the liquid would get absorbed. The kabocha needed to absorb a little of the liquid. So now we're going to take it out. Hooray. Yay. So exciting. So exciting. Okay. Take the lid off. Be careful not to burn yourself with the steam. Unless, of course, you're wanting a steam bath, in which case, you know, do your thing. Okay, so there's a little bit of liquid left. So what I'm going to do now is stir in the kale. Yum. So, you know, a little bit at a time. Just a little bit. Just going to put the rest of that in there. Don't want any yummy kale to go to waste. There we go. And at the same time, it's a little messy, I am going to add a few more sage leaves, nice and torn up, to get the flavors out, because they're freaking delicious. And I'm going to add, so now you can use half a cup of vegan Parmesan if you prefer. I'm going to add half a cup of nutritional yeast, just a lot more nutrients involved if you're using nutritional yeast, but if you're going for the cheesy flavor, there's a lot in here, but you can use, or maybe half and half. I've done that before, it's delicious. So, voila, nutritional yeast. Just to loosen it up a little bit, I'm gonna add a tablespoon of coconut oil, because I love it. So, we'll get that in there. Fabulous. Stir that all together. I can't even tell you how amazing this smells, you guys. So excited for dinner. Yay. Oh, and since the kabocha is all nice and mashy, it's kind of squishing in there too, so it gets that nice sweet flavor in the rice, which is just phenomenal. I'm going to add a little more salt, pepper. There we go. Stir that all together. Oh my gosh, this looks so good. I cannot wait. Yummy, 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 yummy. Okay, and there you have it, some fabulous kabocha squash, kale, and sage risotto. And that is a fabulous, creamy, vegan risotto. Veganize that, kabocha, squash, and kale creamy risotto. Enjoy it, you guys. Oh, and I will show it to you plated, because it looks nice plated. And just, like I said, it can serve 2 to 4, so, you know, depending on if you're having it for a main dish or a side dish, it's totally up to your fabulous self, what you choose to do with your food. You do what you want. So plate that. If you want to make it nice and fabulous, you can add a sage leaf or 2. Why not? And voila. C'est fini. Enjoy, you guys. Bon appetit.